Welcome back to our second episode of our lesson. In our previous lesson, we learned how cost-effective solar energy is. We realized that Ms. Doku saved 2,200 for using solar energy as a source of electricity. Our lesson focuses on advantages and disadvantages of solar energy to Ghana's economy. Ghana spends billions of cedis to import energy yearly. This is in the form of petrol, LPG gas, and natural gas to power some thermal plants, and etc. But let's ask ourselves, what about the abundant sunlight that could transform our economy instead of making it go waste? Have you ever thought of it? By the end of this lesson, you should be able to identify 3 advantages of solar energy to life in Ghana. 2, explain the advantages and disadvantages of solar panels, which helps to convert solar energy to electricity. 3, analyze how solar energy initiatives impact Ghana's economic growth and sustainability. Now, let's look at the advantages of solar energy. That is, using solar panels to convert solar energy into electricity. Let's look at the national economic benefits, how the nation can benefit if we move into converting or depending on solar energy as a source of electricity. 1, foreign exchange savings. Why are we saying that? This will reduce fuel import bills. 2, economic growth. The solar industry can create jobs in manufacturing, installation, maintenance, and research. This will drive economic development. How about technological innovations? Investing in solar energy will encourage development of new technologies and solutions, of which young people can go into. 3, rural electrification, which will boost agricultural productivity. Do you remember in our previous lesson how we can power our water pumps with solar energy for irrigation in our various farms? 4, improved healthcare and education with reliable power. In our previous lesson, we made mention of how Ghana dreamed of reducing the dependence of fossil fuel by using solar energy. So by way of doing that, school building blocks or schools can have solar panel installation which will power the school, and the learners can use this for their studies. How about social and environmental economic impact? And then another economic benefit that the nation can have as an advantage of using solar energy is that this will provide technical jobs for youth across Ghana. Are you not happy with this? This will help our uncles, our fathers to get job and earn something monthly. Then, at this point, let me give you a big opportunity. Consider yourself as Ghana's Minister of Finance. Justify why you invest in energy or you invest in solar energy over dependence of fossil fuel. Think about it. I believe in your justification, you want to consider these factors. You weigh short-term cost versus long-term benefits. You also consider social and environmental economic impact. You also consider addressing financing and then implementation challenges. That's a nice point. You'll be a fine finance minister in the nearby future. Now let's look at some advantages of using solar panels to the environment. 1, reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Installation of solar panel provide electricity without emitting greenhouse gases such as carbon dioxide or methane, which are significant contributors to climate change. By utilizing solar energy, we may considerably lower our carbon footprint and prevent or limit the effect of global warming. What about air quality improvement? Consider yourself standing alongside a road and covering your nose with your nose mask. Remember I said this in our previous lesson? All because of exhaust or fumes from the exhaust of vehicles. So you see, another advantage of using solar panel to the environment is that it does not pollute the air. So traditional energy sources such as coal and natural gas emit dangerous pollutants to the environment. What are these traditional energy sources? Don't forget the fossil fuel. And these air pollutants contribute to air pollution and respiratory ailments. Solar energy generation is clean and does not release pollutants, which benefits general air quality and public health. I believe you all want to have a good health and enjoy life. What about conservation of biodiversity? Solar energy generation has limited environmental impact because it does not require the extraction, transportation, or combustion of fossil fuel. solar electricity contribute to the conservation of biodiversity and natural landscape by lowering environmental disturbances and habitat degradation. Now, when we say biodiversity, what we mean is the varieties of organisms in our environment, in our ecosystem. During extraction of crude oil in our water bodies, there's definitely going to be a negative impact of, or a negative impact on the aquatic organisms such as fish and other animals that live in the sea. But when we go for solar energy, here we are not going to extract it. So you see, there won't be any destruction of a habitat of an organism. So it conserves our biodiversity. Another advantage is that using solar energy helps reduce the use of non-renewable energy sources like crude oil and coal, which can run out. In our previous lesson, we made mention of non-renewable energy. That is for the fossil fuel. Means that they can run out. But for solar energy, they are in abundance and unlimited in the environment. Now, the last advantage that we can have on our environment when we use solar energy is that when we use solar energy, we do not need to rely too much on imported fossil fuels. So, do you remember Ghana used billions of money to import these fossil fuels? So now if we are into solar energy, it means we are going to save something for the future. This gives communities and countries more control over their own energy. Producing energy locally through solar power also promotes self-reliance and reduces dependence on outside sources. At this point, let's do this activity together. Now take your pen and your notebook. List 5 ways your community's economy could benefit from solar energy. I believe in your expected answer, you consider this. Direct cost saving. That is, it will save you from electricity bills and buying of fuel for your generator. This will also create job opportunities in your community, isn't it? How about business improvement? How about community development, such as schools and clinics with reliable power source? This will improve the standard of living of people in your community. Now, let's look at some disadvantages of using solar energy. 1, land use. Large-scale solar energy projects require significant land area for installation, which can result in habitat disruption and land use conflicts. Clearing land for solar farm may lead to biodiversity loss and natural ecosystem, particularly in sensitive or underdeveloped areas. 2, resource extraction. Producing solar panels involves mining raw materials such as silicon, cadmium, and rare earth elements. Extracting these resources can have environmental consequences, including habitat destruction, water pollution, and energy consumption in the manufacturing process. Waste generation. When solar panels reach the end of their usable lifespan, that is, after 20 to 25 years, they must be disposed of. Improper disposal of solar panels can lead to electronic waste, potentially increasing hazardous materials into the environment if not managed responsibly. How about the economic challenge? Many Ghanaians cannot afford initial installation costs despite long-term benefits. Moving to solar energy is good, but it requires money to upgrade systems, buy storage, and train people. At first, Ghana may rely on foreign experts, but over time, locals will gain the skills to handle it themselves. It's a challenge, but to every challenge, there's a way. So let's take this problem-solving task. Your community wants solar power, but faces high costs. Propose 3 economic solutions to make the solar power affordable. In your proposal, I believe you may consider these factors. You may consider that, how about the community sharing the cost? What government policies might be of help? And also, how about seeking support from businesses and other organizations? What have we learned so far? We've learned the advantages and the disadvantages of solar energy or solar panel installation to Ghana's economy. The advantages: it is cost saving to create jobs, energy security comes in, it is also environmentally friendly, and it helps conserve our biodiversity. For the disadvantages: high initial cost, infrastructure needs, and then technical challenge may come in. Let's compare the advantages and then the disadvantages. You see that. Now let's compare the advantages and the disadvantages of using solar panels to Ghana's economy. You see that the long-term advantages outweigh the short-term challenges. For further reading, you read on installation of solar panel in Ghana by making reference to Section 5 of your learner material. You may visit www.curriculumresources.edu.gh for your learner material. Now, assignment. List 3 advantages of solar energy to Ghana's economy. 2. Compare the long-term economic costs of fossil fuels versus solar energy for Ghana. 3. Design a business plan for a solar energy service in your community. This brings us to the end of our lesson. This is Mr. Robert Ahin, your general science teacher. Hope to see you next time. Thank you.